Hello, welcome to Ed's Reading Room. I've got two brilliant books for you this month. The first is by Ruth Symes and it's part of the Belladonna series, and this is called Cat Magic. This is a Piccadilly Press book. And the second, for slightly older readers, is called Osbert the Avenger by Christopher William Hill, and this is an Orchard Books book. They are both absolutely brilliantly written, very different from each other. I hope you're going to enjoy them both. The first then is by Ruth Symes and it's part of the Belladonna series, Cat Magic. Belladonna lives with her forever family, which really consists of Lilith, her mum, and also several cats. Bella's favourite cat is called Pegatha, and one day she goes missing, and she realises that Bella realises that there's something must be behind this. Has some magic spell happened that she's been taken away from her? It's a real problem for her because she's lost without Pegatha. Now, from fairly near the beginning of the story, I'm just going to read a little bit. It starts where Lilith is talking with Bella. Once Verity had gone home, I asked Lilith to tell me more about true witches' cats. Lilith sipped her chamomile tea thoughtfully. No one knows how or why, but the cat always chooses the witch, rather than the witch choosing the cat, she said. So where do true witches' cats come from, I asked her. No one knows that either, Lilith said. What do they look like, I asked. They're all black, mostly. The one I saw when I was a girl had startling turquoise eyes, and when it looked at me, I felt like it could see right inside my head. I stroked Pegatha as she sat purring by me. They're supposed to be magical, of course, and I have heard there are some true witches' cats that can even talk, Lilith said with a smile. But I don't really know if that's true or just a rumour. They can talk, I said. Now I knew why witches' cats were special. I'd love to have a talking cat. If Pegatha could talk, I'd stay up all night chatting to her. Well, as I say, Pegatha then goes missing, which is a huge problem. They end up, several of the witches going out looking for Pegatha by broomstick, which is very, very exciting. All sorts of wonderful goings on in this story. It's a really good, super feel-good story, and the relationship between Lilith and Bella is absolutely fantastic. I do hope you're going to enjoy this story. The second story is completely different. This is Osbert the Avenger by Christopher William Hill. Osbert is a young boy who's a very, very clever, extremely intelligent boy. He lives with his parents in a place called Schwarzgarten. In fact, this book is the first in a new series, which is the series called Tales from Schwarzgarten. The parents of Osbert educate him at home, but they do decide to get him a nanny to come and help look after him in other ways. Now, the whole story, it's full of ghastly goings-on and dreadful deeds and frightening things, but it is absolutely hilarious. It is brilliantly written, and it will be so appealing for both boys and girls. Now I'm going to read a little bit from fairly close to not very beginning, but fairly close to the beginning. A nanny has arrived, and it's a little bit about the family, really. Although Nanny was happy to educate Osbert in the ways of the world, relating dark tales of intrigue and murder, she left the boy's formal education to his parents, and so throughout his early childhood, Mr. and Mrs. Brinkhoff tutored Osbert at home. Mrs. Brinkhoff during the day, and Mr. Brinkhoff when he returned from the bank each evening. But as he reached his 11th birthday, it became clear that they were no longer equal to the challenge of educating their son. He was simply too clever for them. He could carry out long division in moments, memorise extensive tracts of poetry after just one reading, and would discuss the history of Schwarzgarten as if he himself had borne witness to its long and exceptionally bloody past. There was only one thing for it, whispered Mr. Brinkhoff to his wife, as he prized a book of algebra from the arms of his sleeping son. He must sit the entrance exam for the institute. He can't, said Mrs. Brinkhoff, shaking her head. He mustn't. I don't like it any more than you do, said Mr. Brinkhoff sadly, but the boy is too clever for us, too clever by far. If he's accepted into the institute, who knows what he might achieve? Mrs. Brinkhoff shuddered and tucked Osbert into bed, kissing him gently on his great forehead. She feared the worst. The institute would take her son from her, and who knew what would happen next? Well, of course he does get his place, Osbert does get his place at the institute, and all these amazingly wonderful awful things happen. But Osbert isn't going to take them lying down. You can be sure of that. You'll have to read the book to find out what happens. It is absolutely wonderful and brilliantly written. I do hope you're going to enjoy both of these books and also the fun literacy activities I've written to accompany them.